Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, it is a Tuesday. I've got that right, Ross Tucker. All of our guests today brought to you by, and that includes Craig Button, standing by, the Bayside Oceanfront Resort, located oceanside in beautiful Parksville. The Bayside is one of Vancouver Island's premier getaway spots. Call now to book your reservation. You mentioned Donnie and Dolly. You get 10% off your nightly room rate. Also, be sure to grab a Donnie and Dolly hat or T-shirt now on sale at the Bayside. Book your island getaway today at BaysideOceanfrontResort.com or call 250-248-8333 as we bring in TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
I am good. I have a question.
Yes.
So if I go to the Bayside Oceanfront Resort, right?
Yes.
And I mention Ryan Henderson's name, will I get a cushy seat on the water?
No, you'll be escorted out of the building.
Escorted out.
Yeah.
Escorted out, Craig.
Yeah. Now you're back in Toronto now, but you were in Vancouver in Langley, the LEC for the under 17 challenge. What or who stood out there, Craig?
Well, I'm coming back. We're doing the broadcast on Saturday.
There you go.
All right. Gold medal game. So
Jet setter.
So I am coming back, which is good. And anyway, really, what it is, what I will tell you is there's so many good young players, and it's a preview of what we're going to see in the years to come. But I will give you one significant name to keep in mind, and the kid is an absolute stud. His name is Cole Eiserman. He plays for USA, and if I ever saw a player that reminded me of Chris Kreider at the same age, it might be Cole Eiserman. He's dominating the tournament. His line mate Hagens is not eligible until the 2025 draft. Eiserman's up for 2024. But those are just a couple of the names that you mentioned. But there's some. It's not Y. It's Eiserman.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
But yeah, and really good. But you look at a player, David Yurichuk, whose brother was drafted 6th overall by the Columbus Blue Jackets. His brother is playing there, Adam, a really good young defenseman. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard of Macklin Celebrini, a local. He's a real top-notch player. Michael Misa, who's the exceptional status player, he's doing his thing. And, I can tell you what, I'm going to do a list next week, 10 players to keep an eye on for the 2024 draft. I'm going to have a hard time getting it down to 10 because there's 25 really good players there.
Macklin Celebrini, son of Rick.
Yep.
Of local soccer fame and, of course, physiotherapy fame.
LA
Golden
Lakers.
State Warriors, all that. LA Lakers? Yeah. Golden State. Yeah, okay. Lakers now. Okay, Craig, moving on. The Canucks, a lot going on there. Jim Rutherford going on the air yesterday, local radio, and all but coming out. And, he wasn't supporting his head coach. Did you ever, as a GM, did you ever criticize your coach publicly?
No, I don't think. Bottom line is the Canucks are in a spot for a lot of different reasons. So if you want to take the spotlight and put it on your coach, if he bears the responsibility, then you can. I never think there's an upside to publicly, criticizing your coach. I think that the coach is under enough scrutiny from enough corners where if you spending the time with him and talking with him and trying to understand what he's trying to do, trying to, talk him through the issues and trying to help him find solutions. There's one thing the coaches are always doing. They spend an inordinate amount of time trying to find solutions to their problems. I said this many years ago when I worked with Pat Quinn and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said, if there's 500 problems, if there's and there are 5,000 things you're trying to, or 500 things you're trying to solve, you're working and you're pretty confident in 495 of the solutions, and you're working so hard to try to find the 5 that you don't have. They're working on that every day. So to come out publicly, it's not a process that I would do. I don't believe in it, but probably bigger than that, and you heard me say this a little while ago, or a couple weeks ago, is that, if Jim wants a different coach, get a different coach.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to keep, treating your coach like a punching bag. It doesn't mean that Bruce Bruno is a good coach. But if Jim wants somebody different, just go get a different coach. Don't keep browbeating him. That's how I feel.
Craig, the young kids, Hoglander, Podkolson, Rathbone, they're in and out, healthy scratches. When they get in, 10 minutes, 9 minutes. How tough is that to watch? If they can't get in the lineup when the Canucks are 27th place overall in the NHL standings, Craig, when are they ever going to get in?
Well, it's a great question, Rick. And, here's the challenge the way I look at it, right, is that, okay, here's where you're at currently, as you mentioned, the record. But you're also looking at those players to be contributors to your team, not just now, but certainly in the future. And so what are you doing to help them, achieve their potential, to help them be contributors to your team? And bottom line is, 6 minutes healthy scratches ain't helping them. I would even be open to saying, hey, okay, just go down. We're going to send you down to Abbotsford.
Yeah.
We don't want you in this environment right now. We're going to put you down there. We want you to play lots of minutes, lots of important situations. Get down there and play. You're a big part of our future, and get going. That's what I would do. And because I don't think there's a positive for them in terms of their development being where they're at right now. And there's certainly, you don't want them around an environment where there's so much negativity. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Are you finished?
Yeah. No, Craig, you're done, right?
I am. Sorry.
Okay.
This is where you ask another question. I wasn't asking Craig.
No, I thought you were asking. Okay, I see what you mean.
You're thrown off because I didn't press my cough switch.
Hey, Craig, not long ago, you mentioned you weren't a big Ethan Bear fan, but you know what? He's come in. He's done okay. He's getting a lot of penalty killing time. He's blocking shots. So far, so good, Craig, for him in Vancouver.
Listen, I never said I didn't like. I like Ethan Bear. I want to see Ethan Bear do well. Okay.
Yeah.
My point on Ethan Bear was he's a bottom pair defenseman, and I might be wrong on that, but that's what my assessment of him is. And as I said, is you know what, the Vancouver Canucks need a lot more than another 5-6 defenseman. They need a lot more than that. And so I guess you could argue that it's positive. You're shoring it up in a little way. He's coming and giving some good play and solid play, which is a positive. But the Vancouver Canucks aren't going to move ahead, in my view, until they get a lot better defensemen on their blue line.
Yeah.
And defensemen that can play, in that 2, 3, 4 slot. And, that's not a slag on Tyler Myers. Can he play there? Does he need support in the 2, 3 spot? Yeah, all those things. But I'm trying to, without being, I don't want to be critical of Ethan because I do really like him, but I want to be accurate in my assessment of what he is, and more importantly, the bigger picture for the Canucks. Like, does he help? Yeah, but does he help significantly to achieve what they're ultimately trying after? I don't think so.
Craig, you're in Toronto. You've been in Vancouver, but I believe you live in Calgary. I think I've got that right. What's going on with the Flames? 5 straight losses. Nobody saw that coming.
No, and I'll tell you what. I said this after Saturday's game. Mm-hmm. The devil is in the details, and I think their details are really lacking. The last 2 games they've lost overtime, power play goals against.
Yeah.
And when you're taking penalties in overtime, you're on the wrong side of the puck. They've had leads. They started out slow. Details of the game. Making sure you start on time and you're ready to play. Not giving up leads. Being smart. Not giving up the puck recklessly. Not taking needless penalties. Those are all the things that hurt a team. And I think that they've all, right at this point in time, combined to put the Flames exactly where they are. I will say this about the Flames right now. In their last 5 games, they've got exactly what they've deserved.
And Craig, very, very quickly, any idea? And they've come out and rescinded the contract and apologized. But what the Bruins were thinking signing Mitchell Miller?
Yeah. So on a bigger level, the way I look at it is, I believe in second chances, but I also believe it's incumbent upon people that are prepared to give second chances to make sure that the second chance is warranted. Right. And that you've done your due diligence to understand, I'll call it, rehabilitation and everything that goes with it. But if you can't demonstrate that you've taken steps to rehabilitate and earn that second chance, then you shouldn't get a second chance. And I think that there's enough with what's happened with Mitchell Miller and the Boston Bruins that led to this. And it's a classic case of, hey, listen, make sure you do your prep work. Make sure you do your proper investigative work, because it's obvious that the Bruins didn't do that. And, and now they find themselves in a position where they're being questioned, rightfully so. And, that's where, there's a contract. When I say a contract, there's a contract that says you want a second chance. Here's the things that you need to have demonstrated. Here's things you need to continue to demonstrate. Obviously, when they rescinded this contract, they felt that those hadn't been met. They could have found that out well ahead of time.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next week, Craig. Thanks so much for this. Appreciate it. Safe travels.
Thank you. Yeah.
You bet.
Thanks.
Craig Button.